Surrounded by many interesting stories and controversies, the white wolf is a very fascinating figure in the world. His circle of friends includes some of the most powerful members of the underworld and people who are in society's upper echelons. Thanks to a number of degrees from universities including Stanford and a voracious reading habit, Chang Anlou's mastery of Chinese history and politics has inspired awe among professionals in a variety of areas. Watch the video till the end as we tell you about one of the most influential people in the world. Early life and the Bamboo Union. Chang Anlou was born in China on March 13, 1948, and moved to Taiwan with his family in 1949 after Chinese communists assumed control of the mainland. He joined the Bamboo Union as a teenager and rose quickly through the ranks. The United Bamboo Gang was one of the most powerful groups of criminal gangs at that time. They had a sizable following, with a majority of its members being mainland Chinese. They were purely motivated by profit and were involved in organized homicides and drug trafficking. In the late 1960s, the Bamboo Union's membership objectives had moved from street warfare to profiteering. After joining the union, Chang Anlou was so dedicated to the gang that he did everything he could to quickly advance through the ranks. Consequently, the gang quickly gained prominence and established a reputation for providing security and extorting money from area businesses and manufacturers. Following the Vietnam War, thousands of well-paid American GIs flocked to Taipei for R&R, and as a result, the gang's coffers flooded. At that time, the Chinese nightclub owners encouraged Bamboo Union members to get involved in their establishments in order to drive out competing gangs of ethnic Taiwanese who were vying for a piece of the lucrative gambling, prostitution, and drug trade. Time in America. Thanks to the injection of so much money, the Bamboo Union was rapidly evolving into a transnational crime syndicate. Then in 1968, Chang Anlou, who was now one of the leaders of the union, traveled to Las Vegas to investigate and maintain discipline in the Bamboo Union's burgeoning empire, particularly in California's Chinatowns and Las Vegas's gambling halls. Chang then came into prominence in 1986 when he was dubbed the White Wolf in the United States. He was one of 9 individuals convicted on narcotics and racketeering charges for his roles in the Bamboo Union gang. The Taiwan-based international crime ring was also charged for a politically motivated death in Daly City, California. In 1984, Henry Liu, who was a crusading Taiwanese-American journalist, authored an unflattering biography of Taiwan's president at the time, Chiang Ching-kuo. According to court actions in the United States and Taiwan, it was deduced that officials in Taiwan's military intelligence service ordered his assassination. As a result of all the charges, Chang was sentenced to serve time in 3 federal prisons: Leavenworth, Kansas, Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Oakdale, Louisiana. After serving his sentence, Chang returned to Taiwan and started working in the construction industry. A moment in history. When Chang came back, the union was led by Chen Chili, who was the sworn brother of Chang Anlou. The organization was at its pinnacle in the 1980s and 1990s and was advancing thanks to Chen Chili's vision and charisma. In the mid-1990s, Chang was having legal issues, so he went to Taiwan in June 1996 to investigate the possibility of investing in a wig factory. However, his trip was shortened and he had to flee to China after a warrant for his arrest was issued, allegedly linking him to a debt scandal and the death of a Taiwanese legislator, along with construction fraud. In view of this, Chang himself claimed that he got himself into problems because of a government proposal to grant amnesty to members of organized crime in exchange for admissions and a commitment not to engage in any more illicit operations. Chang stated that he refused to consent to a Taiwanese government restriction on contacting his organized crime friends, including Chen Shili. Then came the worst day of his life, when Chang's son was stabbed to death in an elevator at a Taipei karaoke bar in April 1998 after a fight with a member of the 4Cs gang. To pay their condolences, around 2,000 gang members, legislators, businessmen, and celebrities from all over the island congregated at Taipei's second funeral parlor. The funeral procession spanned over a mile and comprised roughly 70 Cadillacs. Authorities actively looked for the 4Cs members who were involved in the killing to avoid the start of a gang war. The result was a positive one, as the authorities were able to defuse the situation and avoid an all-out war. Entry in politics. Despite an extensive criminal record in Taiwan, Chang claimed that he has been misunderstood by the authorities. He also denied committing crimes in the United States at any time. He stated that he despises the police investigations in Taiwan and China. and that his main source of income is just $1,250 each month from the wig factory. But as you can guess, he wasn't being honest. However, just like many other accused Taiwanese gangsters, Chang was interested in politics, since politics and organized crime have a long linked history that predates the Chinese Communist Party's rise to power. But that didn't save him from jail time in 2001, when he was apprehended by police while eating supper with 8 other people in a noodle restaurant and was sentenced for 22 months in jail. 2004 marked the creation of the Chinese Unity Promotion Party. During that time, Chang was also present in China, and a year later, in 2005, he established a Taiwanese section of the party and worked extensively to form this party, severing all ties with the Bamboo Union in the process, especially after the party's supreme leader, Chen Shili's death and funeral. Chen's death in 2007 came as a shock to Chang, as he was loved and respected by everyone. Chen's funeral drew almost 10,000 people, including a number of officials from Taiwan's still developing democracy, which was battling to overcome long-standing ties to organized crime. Chen was an idealist who had amassed wealth in order to do the right thing for his people. He was so respected that, along with Bamboo Union, Taiwan's other 2 biggest criminal groups, the Four Seas Triad and the Celestial Way, were also present to pay their respects. The return to Taiwan. After a few years of living away from Taiwan, Chang eventually returned to Taiwan in 2013 and was instantly detained by Taiwanese authorities at Songshan Airport before being freed on bail. Ma Ying-jeou, the president at the time, was chastised for his handling of Chang. After being freed, Chang established campaign headquarters for the Chinese Unification Promotion Party in downtown Taiwan to prepare for the 2016 elections. Following a raid on one of the political party's headquarters in November 2013, police expressed their worries to the press about the political party's ties to organized crime. They suspected that the political party was allegedly being used as a front for membership in the Bamboo Union gang in New Taipei City, and that illicit firearms were being transported and utilized in racketeering and turf conflict by the Yeshi branch. However, Chang denied every single allegation on his party and told the press that his days of past are now behind him. On June 17, 2017, the Unification Party's headquarters on Fuxing Road in Taipei were converted into somewhat of a classroom from an office space, and Chang An-lo, who was the face and spirit of the party, gave a 3-hour-long lecture to over 100 core members of the party. Chang's frameless spectacles, tailor-made Chinese-style suit, humble grin, and eloquence on stage gave him the appearance of a college professor, which was completely opposite to Chang's reputation as a former crime leader. Adding to that, Chang's political ideas were completely opposed to the mainstream in Taiwan. According to Chang An-lo, the One China concept is the bottom line for settling the Taiwan crisis, which the communists on the mainland and the KMT in Taiwan also agree on. Unlike the majority of his generation, Chang's vision for the Chinese country extends beyond the island and party devotion, as Chang had the opportunity to connect with the PRC's first batch of foreign students while attending Stanford in the 1980s. He foresaw the Chinese nation's destiny shifting to the mainland. Moreover, he knew that the KMT's hope of retaking the mainland had receded, and the PRC now has a stronger position to press for a resolution with Taiwan, thanks to the return of power across the Taiwan Strait. Even Chinese President Xi Jinping stated in one of his interviews that the Taiwan issue cannot be passed down through the generations. To solve this major issue, Chang believes that Taiwan's voluntary acceptance of the PRC's one country, two systems formula will put Taiwan in the strongest bargaining position with Beijing. Chang also has said on numerous occasions that he believes this model would work better for Taiwan. The leader. Chang An-lo, who is now 73 years old, could have easily retired as a wealthy and content grandfather, instead of plunging into Taiwan's tumultuous election politics. Long separated from the underworld, Chang is currently commanding the UP, which is the sole force publicly advocating Taiwan's incorporation into the People's Republic of China. Chang is widely viewed by the increasingly pro-independence population through either a black or red filter, with the former equating him with the organized crime and the latter as a puppet of the communist government, or sometimes even both. Only a handful of people are actually prepared to set their prejudices aside and listen to what he has to offer. Chang, who has lived on both sides of the Taiwan Strait, arguably knows more about both regimes and peoples than any other politician in Taiwan. Although his unusual background makes people more skeptical, it does not rule out the potential that his suggestion is in the best interests of the Taiwanese people. Having been living in the mainland since 1996 and visiting every spot he heard about through the KMT's patriotic education program, Chang has seen how the communists preserved China's sovereignty and lifted more than 1.4 billion people out of poverty, something the nationalists promised but never delivered. In his opinion, the success of the Chinese Communist Party vastly exceeded any residual challenges or historical controversies, and could also help the people of Taiwan if his ideology is understood and acted upon. Well, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the content of the video. If you did, show some love and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you never miss out on any of the amazing videos we have in store for you.